Hello, I'm back. So now we're talking about inflammation of the eye membranes, right? So we're going to talk about all the bacterial diseases of the eye. Not all of them, the main ones. So conjunctivitis is an inflammation of the conjunctiva. Conjunctiva is the membrane that covers the anterior portion of our eyes and the inside of our eyelids, right? So when the conjunctiva is infected by bacteria, which are usually Haemophilus influenza, remember Haemophilus influenza has nothing to do with influenza, right? Influenza is viral disease. Here we're talking about bacterial diseases. Haemophilus influenza is the same one that can cause meningitis and otitis externa, okay? So Haemophilus influenza is the main one, but you can also have Staphylococcus aureus, Streptococcus pneumoniae, and Moraxella catarrhalis causing these types of infections. These infections are very contagious. They can spread from person to person, from hand to eye contact, via eye contact with contaminated objects, respiratory droplets, okay? And also Pseudomonas can cause some type of conjunctivitis associated with unsanitary contact lenses. You may be asking, what about the viruses? We always hear about virus conjunctivitis. Viral conjunctivitis are usually caused by adenovirus, but there are other viruses that can also cause. Is very contagious, and they can also spread through contact, hand to eye, hand or objects that are contaminated with the infected virus. Tears, eye discharge, fecal matter, respiratory discharge, they can contaminate hands, and then person puts the hand on the eye, they can get viral conjunctivitis. Also transmitted by droplets. So how do you know if conjunctivitis is bacterial or not? If it's bacterial, it occurs at the same time as an ear infection, because then it's very likely that you may have Haemophilus influenza or some other bacteria that causes otitis media. It occurs shortly after birth, that would be bacterial. And the discharge from the eye is usually thicker, and in the viral one, it's usually more watery, okay? So if it's a virus, discharge is more watery, and the conjunctivitis usually comes with a common cold or some type of respiratory tract infection, not earache. See the difference here? Okay. I'm sorry for dogs howling here. It's very hard. I already started this video 3 times and it doesn't stop, so I decided just to continue. So I apologize for that. Some things we cannot control when you're at home, right? Okay, so then there is another condition for eye bacterial infection that is called ophthalmia neonatorum, and is caused by Neisseria gonorrhea. And you're like, hold on, isn't that the one present in the genitalia? Yes, they usually are transmitted to the newborn through the vaginal canal, through birth, right? And then how do you prevent this? This is usually prevented in every newborn with antimicrobial drops, okay? If it happens, it includes red eye, thick pus in the eyes, and swelling of the eyelids. It usually happens in the first 5 days of life and can be associated with bacteremia and meningitis. So that's the problem here, which is not just a simple ophthalmia or conjunctivitis. It can become worse. So it's really important that the newborn eyes are prevented with antibiotic drops, okay? Usually the drops contain erythromycin, and yeah, every newborn is supposed to receive this prophylactic treatment, okay? Inclusion conjunctivitis. This is a slightly different conjunctivitis than the one we talked before. Because here, first, the etiological agent is Chlamydia trachomatis. So this bacterium is from a different strain than the one that causes the sexual disease, which we're going to talk later. Okay. So remember, the chlamydia is an obligate intracellular parasite. It is transmitted to newborn eyes through also the birth canal. But sometimes they can have different strains. If you see an adult with Chlamydia trachomatis, it could be a different type of microbe or another strain of chlamydia. Same species, different strain. They can be spread through swimming pool water, and the symptoms are usually redness of the eyes, swelling of the eyelids, and discharge of pus. Usually appears between 5 and 12 days after birth, if it's through the birth canal. About half of these newborns that have chlamydia conjunctivitis also have infection in other parts of the body, which is the dangerous part. It can infect lungs, nasopharynx. Remember where the back of the nose connects to your mouth? That's the nasopharynx. And this can be treated by antimicrobials and also prevented by antimicrobial drops. When Chlamydia trachomatis infection becomes more severe, when does that happen? Depends on the serotype. Is serotype and strain the same thing? Serotypes are features that are included in some strains. So it's like you have strains, and then inside strains you have serotypes. So it's subtypes of the same species, Chlamydia trachomatis. Important here is that this is the leading cause of preventable blindness in the world. It could be prevented by antimicrobials, but lack of resources you end up observing a lot of cases that cause the blindness because of the lack of treatment. So how does this happen? It can be transmitted via hand-to-eye contact or via vector. It can also be transmitted through fomites. Via vector, because usually flies are mechanical vectors. They carry in their foot the chlamydia that is also present in the genitalia, but like I said, usually the ones that cause trachoma are chlamydia from a different strain. When they infect the conjunctiva, what happens is that they end up infecting also the cornea and the bulbar conjunctiva, which is inside your eyelid. And when that happens, there is a condition that is called orchitis. Told you the wrong term. The term is for this, that is right here, that you can't really see much in this picture. The term for this is trichiasis. Let me write here so we don't forget. My pen is not working. Trichiasis. What is trichiasis? It's an inversion of the eyelash. And when the eyelash inverts, what happens? Permanent scarring of the cornea. They scare the cornea. They cause scars on the cornea as you're blinking the eye. And that is what causes the blindness. Okay? There could be also secondary infections here that are going to make the situation worse. That's it. We're done with this chapter. I will see you for the next chapter. Remember to fill the tables. Those are important for your study. And we see you again for chapter 22. Bye-bye.